സുഹൃത്തുക്കളെ, ഹാളിന് പുറത്ത് രജിസ്ട്രേഷൻ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ളവർ ഹാളിനകത്തേക്ക് വരേണ്ടതാണ് ദയവ് ചെയ്ത്. Those of you who have completed registration, please come inside the hall. Requesting everybody who has completed registration, please come inside the hall. ഹാളിനകത്തേക്ക് കടന്നു വരേണ്ടതാണ്.
गणानाम गणपति गणेश लंबोदर सोगे भुजा जार इत दंद नंद माल लाल राडे ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश ताळवे रूपत गावे अति विचित्र गणनाथ आज मिरदंग बजाये
ഹലോ, എല്ലാവർക്കും നമസ്കാരം. മൂന്നാമത്തെ തവണയാണ് ഞാൻ ഈ ധനലക്ഷ്മി ബാങ്കിൻ്റെ ഈ ഇതുവരെ ഫംഗ്ഷന് തൃശ്ശൂർ തന്നെ അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. വളരെ ഒരുപാട് സന്തോഷമുണ്ട്. ഹരീഷ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ എൻ്റെ സുഹൃത്ത് ഹരീഷ് സാർ, എനിക്കങ്ങനെ വിളിക്കാൻ ഇഷ്ടമൊന്നുമില്ല. കാര്യം ഞങ്ങൾ ഒരുമിച്ച് പഠിച്ചവരാണ്. മ്യൂസിക് കോളേജിൽ ഒരുമിച്ച് പഠിച്ചു, ഒരുപോലെ പാസ്സായി. എനിക്ക് മ്യൂസിക് കോളേജ് ജോലി കിട്ടി, അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ധനലക്ഷ്മി ബാങ്കിൽ ജോലി കിട്ടി. അതൊരു ഭാഗ്യം. പക്ഷേ എങ്കിലും ഹരീഷും ഞങ്ങൾ ഒരുമിച്ച് കൂടുന്ന ഒരു വേദി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഞങ്ങളെ സംബന്ധിച്ച് വളരെ സന്തോഷമുള്ളൊരു കാര്യമാണ്. ഇപ്പം സാർ ഇവിടെ വന്നു. സാർ നമസ്തേ. അതുപോലെ ധനലക്ഷ്മി ബാങ്കുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട ഒരുപാട് ഉദ്യോഗസ്ഥരും എല്ലാവരും ഇപ്പോൾ ഉണ്ട്. ഒരുപാട് സംസാരിക്കുന്നില്ല, കാര്യം കുറച്ച് സമയമുള്ളൂ നമുക്ക് പ്രോഗ്രാമിന്. സൗണ്ട് ചെയ്തു തരുന്ന അവരോട് ഒത്തിരി നന്ദി പറയുകയാണ്. കുറച്ച് സമയം നമ്മുടെ ഈ ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രാം എല്ലാവരും ഒന്ന് ആസ്വദിക്കുക. കീബോർഡ് പ്ലേ ചെയ്യുന്നത് ട്രിവാൻഡ്രം ഷിനു ആണ്. ഒരു കയ്യടി ഷിനുവിന്. ഒരുപാട് പ്രഗത്ഭരുടെ കൂടെ നമ്മുടെ ഏറ്റവും താഴെയുള്ള കുട്ടികൾ മുതൽ ഏഷ്യ സാറ്, ഹരിഹരൻ സാറ്, SP ബാലസുബ്രഹ്മണ്യം, അദ്ദേഹം മരിച്ചുപോയി, KS ചിത്ര ചേച്ചി, അവരെല്ലാവരും കൂടെ അക്കമ്പനി ചെയ്യുന്ന ആളാണ് ഷിനു. അതേപോലെ തന്നെയാണ് രഞ്ജു. ഡ്രമ്മാണ് ഞങ്ങൾ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത്. പക്ഷേ ഈ കാലാവസ്ഥയുടെയൊക്കെ പ്രശ്നം കൊണ്ടും അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ പല സാഹചര്യങ്ങൾ വന്നതുകൊണ്ട് പെട്ടെന്ന് മാറ്റി. ഡ്രമ്മറാണ് ശരിക്കും രഞ്ജു ട്രിവാൻഡ്രം. ഒരു കയ്യടി. പിന്നെ മൃദംഗം വായിക്കുന്നത് നിങ്ങൾക്കാർക്കും അറിയാത്ത ഒരാളാണ്, ഉടുപ്പി ആർ ഹരീഷ്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ വായനയെക്കുറിച്ച് ഞാൻ പറയേണ്ട കാര്യമില്ല, നമുക്ക് കേൾക്കാം. കുറച്ച് സമയം ഉള്ളെങ്കിലും കുറച്ച് സമയം കേൾക്കാം. ഒപ്പം ഞങ്ങളുടെ കൂടെ ജലാൽ, ഞങ്ങളുടെ എല്ലാ സഹായമായിട്ട് ജലാലുണ്ട് ഞങ്ങളുടെ കൂടെ. ട്രിവാൻഡ്രത്ത് നിന്ന് വന്നതാണ്. എൻ്റെ പേര് റോജോ. മൂന്നാമത്തെ തവണയും നിങ്ങളുടെ ഈ ഒരു ഫംഗ്ഷനിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കാൻ എനിക്ക് പറ്റി. എന്നെ വിളിച്ചു, അതിൽ ഒത്തിരി സന്തോഷം. അപ്പം നമുക്കൊരു ഫിലിം സോങ് ഒന്ന് തുടങ്ങാം. നമ്മൾ ഇളയരാജ സാറിൻ്റെ ഒരു പാട്ട്, ദളപതി സിനിമയിലെ അദ്ദേഹം ചെയ്തൊരു നല്ലൊരു മെലഡി ഒന്ന് പ്ലേ ചെയ്യാം. അങ്ങോട്ട് പോകാം. ഓക്കെ.
Thank you, thank you. That was fantastic. Before we proceed, let me request all comrades who are yet to register to please complete the registration process. It is a very simple process. The QR code is kept outside. We just had an instrumental fusion by Comrade Harish and his team. Comrade Harish needs no introduction. He also goes by the name Udupi Harish in musical circles. He started learning Mridangam at the tender age of 5 and started performing in concerts when he was 8. His gurus include Sri Karamana Krishnankutti Nayar, Professor Parasala Ravi, Cherthala Anantakrishnan and Mangad Jagadindran. He completed his post-graduation in performing arts and specialized in Mridangam and Sri Swati Tirunal College of Music, Trivandrum. He is a rank holder in Bachelor of Performing Arts and Master of Performing Arts from the University of Kerala. He is a graded artist of All India Radio Trivandrum. He is a regular accompaniment for live concerts and Carnatic and fusion performances. He and his bandmates have been invited by the former President of India, Dr. Abdul Kalam, for his guests. Comrade Harish, an officer of Dhanlakshmi Bank and a member of Dhanlakshmi Bank Officers Organization, is now posted at Udayan Kulangara branch in Trivandrum.
Sri Rojo Adur is the son of the great Western violinist Sri Anthony Adur. Rojo started learning the instrument at a very young age. He is also a master in performing arts from the Swati Tirunal College of Music, Trivandrum, and he is a batchmate of Comrade Harish. They formed this fusion band during their college days and have won many accolades in university events. He is now an assistant professor of violin at Swati Tirunal College of Arts, Trivandrum.
Sri Renju, a rhythm composer on the Western percussion, is a well-known name, who also completed his graduation in Mridangam from Swati Tirunal College of Music, Trivandrum. He has played the drums for famous names like Bala Bhaskar, K.S. Chitra, SPB, Yeshudas, and works for many popular TV shows like Music Mojo and other reality shows.
We had Mr. Shinu on the keyboards. He started playing the harmonium at a very young age and now plays the keys for mega shows and for renowned musicians like Sri Hariharan, Srimati K.S. Chitra, Sri K.J. Yeshudas, and has also been working for many music talent shows in various TV channels. He has composed many musical and devotional albums and is an accomplished live stage artist.
Comrades, it is a fantastic day today. The weather is a bit wet, but pleasant nevertheless. We all had a rocking evening yesterday, and I'm sure all of us here are fully charged up for the day's proceedings. This is a day we all have been awaiting eagerly for a while. DBOO, which symbolizes the trust and confidence of the officer community of Dhanlakshmi Bank, is not only a trade union, but a passion for each member.
The biennial conference of DBOO has always been an exciting occasion for us to cherish and to keep our spirits of camaraderie alive. Though the pandemic has put off our gathering for a while, the right time has now arrived to materialize our long-awaited event. Harish and his team have set the tone for the day with their classical Jugalbandi. While we acknowledge the excitement, may I remind you that we have a lot of important items on the agenda coming up. In order to have a smooth flow of events, may I request all of you to keep your mobile phones on silent mode.
While the stage is getting ready, may I once again request those who have not completed the registration to complete it immediately. Harish and his team have given us a fantastic start for the day. DBOO would like to honor these fantastic artisans in our own way. May I request all four of them to come to the stage, please. Our General Secretary will do the honors.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are all set. DBO Biennial 2022 is with us now. So, let me just humbly remind you all that DBO Biennials are known for its discipline. So, we will keep our discipline right until the end of the show.
Lo. 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 Check.
ബാങ്ക് ബച്ചാവോ ദേശ് പേജിൻ്റെ ലൈക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ഇൻവൈറ്റ് ഫ്രണ്ട്.
Bank बचाओ दे.
Two. Hey, 1 2 2. Low. 1 2 2 2. Hey, 1 2.
Extra ഒന്നും കേട്ടോ ഇത് ഇതാണ്.
So we're all set for the day. May I request everybody to remain seated, please? And may I once again remind all of you to keep your phones on silent mode. I now request our beloved General Secretary, Comrade Manoj, to take the stage, please.
Low, check, low. Morning. Low, check, low. Okay. Low.
I request Comrade Soumya Datta, the General Secretary of AIBOC. Please take the stage, sir. Somebody who's very close to our hearts, Comrade Srinath, State Secretary of Kerala AIBOC. Please take the stage, sir. A very special person for all of us. May I request our beloved MD, Shivan sir, to take the stage, please. I request our President, the President of DBOO, Mr. Rajesh, Comrade Rajesh. Please take a seat, sir. And finally, the hero of the day, Comrade Abraham, who is the General Convener for the day.
Let's start our meeting with a prayer to the Almighty by Comrade Ranjit Warrior.
हमको मन की शक्ति देना, मन विजय करे, दूसरों की जय से पहले खुद को जय करे। हमको मन की शक्ति देना, भेद भाव अपने दिल से साफ कर सके, दोस्तों से भूल है तो माफ कर सके, झूठ से बचे रहे, सच कदम भरे, दूसरों के जैसे पहले खुद को जय करे, हमको मन की शक्ति देना, मुश्किलें पड़े तो हम पे इतना कर्म कर, साथ दे तो धर्म का, चले तो धर्म पर, खुद पे हौसला रखे, बदी से ना डरे, दूसरों के जैसे पहले खुद का जय करे, हमको मन की शक्ति देना, मन विजय करे, दूसरों के जैसे पहले खुद को जय करे, हमको मन की शक्ति देना।
May I now request our beloved General Secretary, Comrade S. Manoj, to deliver his welcome address.
Respected President of the meeting, Comrade Rajesh K.N., the respected Managing Director, who is a very knowledgeable senior banking professional and whose expertise is going to be critical in taking our beloved institution forward. The National General Secretary of IBOC, Comrade Somoda, who always has a very special place for all generation private sector banks in his mind. The Kerala State Secretary of IBOC and the upcoming leader of national prominence, Comrade Srinath Indijudan, leaders of various affiliates of IBOC, leaders of fraternal organizations that constitute UFBU, senior executives of Dhanlakshmi Bank, and last but definitely not least, my dearest comrades who have come all the way far and wide locations. It is indeed a great privilege for me to stand in front of you all as the General Secretary of DBOO. At the outset, let me inform you all that the respected Finance Minister of Kerala, Sri K.N. Balagul, who has agreed to inaugurate our biennial, has expressed his inability in the wake of other urgent commitments. In his absence, our respected MD has kindly agreed to inaugurate our biennial conference. Even though a very small organization, the overall conduct and discipline of our conferences has been very drawn always appreciation from the participating dignitaries. I am sure my team would take the bar a notch high this time as well. As you all know, we were forced to postpone our biennial for obvious reasons, which should have originally happened during 2021. This meant that we have to organize the biennial conference with a very short notice, perhaps the shortest possible time. I am reminded of our 18th Biennial Conference, which happened to go under the Go Green protocol, received great appreciation from all corners. Even though this conference is being held in a really short notice, our commitment to the Green protocol is very much visible here. You all would have received jute bags, paper pens. You also would have noticed an effort to reduce usage of paper while doing the registration. Registration was through QR code. Barring a few copies printed for statutory purposes, General Secretary's report is made digital and will reach your phones. The backdrop and all such materials that you see here are biodegradable and eco-friendly. The reporting period saw many events in our bank, which are covered in my report to be presented before you later in the day. Now we have a new managing director under whom we are trying to revive our fortunes. There cannot be a better forum than this conference for me to pledge our wholehearted support for all the measures indeed to revive and rejuvenate our institution. We all know that our members are battling against many odds to stay afloat and take our institution to greater heights. We have always believed the way to prosperity will be a smoother when the institution and the association travel hand in hand, which will definitely bring in real growth and happiness to all the stakeholders, including the employees, customers, as well as the investors. Now, if we look at the national scenario, the clouds of privatization are gathering over the horizon. After the election season, the privatization efforts are reportedly gathering momentum. We may be already in the private sector, but we clearly understand that diluting the public characteristics of the Indian banking industry is not at all in the interest of the country. The afford objective of financial inclusion will be compromised if private equity is allowed in a big way into the public sector bank. The government has made its policies pretty clear, and the onus is upon us to spread the awareness of the ill effects diluting public characteristics of the Indian industry. DBOO appreciate ABOC for the efforts that are being taken to increase the awareness in this regard. The Bharat Yatras were such a novel initiative which proved that ABOC can shoulder such responsibilities and take it forward quite efficiently. We are also aware that the Bank Bachao Desh Bachao page is making waves and the contents appearing in it are really intriguing. If any one of you are still not like the page, please do so immediately. The QR codes placed in this venue will lead you straight into the correct page with one touch. You are all requested not only to like this page, but invite all your contacts to like this page. Let massive number of invitations flow from Hotel Merlin International today. Use Facebook Lite app, which will allow you to invite all your friends to like this page at one go. Our duty doesn't end by liking it and inviting people, but also please do share the beautiful contents that appear on this page regularly. As we proactively carry the welfare schemes of the government to the masses, we also witness that the new generation private sector banks go almost scot-free in this aspect. A reassessment of a banker's job profile over the last so many years would reveal that there are many other activities that are being thrust upon on these days. It is such a shame that we also have reached a stage where it would be perfectly in order to state that we also do banking. There are few scenarios that form the backdrop of this biennial conference of DBOO. I am sure this conference would certainly give the much needed clearer perspective and a deeper insight into that is happening into the financial sector and also show us the way forward for the bank officers movement. It would only be realistic expectation that a dais that includes our managing director, who is a vastly experienced and who has the great ability to put forth his view in a very positive way, will throw a clear vision about our bank's progress as well, needless to mention by taking DBO as partners in the progress. I am sure that these eminent personalities would drive home the point of progressing by staying united, be it activism or taking it to our beloved institution forward. With these few words, I would like to stand in between these tall personalities and you all. I would not like to stand between these tall personalities and you all. I am also eager as each and every one of you to hear these stalwarts and allow me to proceed straight into my duty. The few interactions that we had with the managing director has shown up glimpses of his class. We are really happy that he is continuing the legacy of managing directors gracing the gala event of debut. As a true leader of institution, I am sure that he must be looking forward to be addressing a vast majority of officer community in our bank under one roof and instill confidence in them and show them the right path forward. Sir, it's a matter of great privilege for us to invite you as the chief guest of 19th Biennial Conference of DBOO. And I am really honored as the General Secretary of DBOO to formally welcome you to the conference. I have to say that Comrade Somyado has taken the relationships that National General Secretaries used to have with DBOO into a different level. Comrade has a very busy schedule nowadays. The Bharat Yatras need to be reiterated as something which was only political parties would have the guts to declare and pull it off. I sincerely appreciate that the Ministry of IBOC has pulled off it elegantly, thereby declaring that it is ready to show even different bigger ways. It needs to be mentioned here that in spite of having his plate full, he ensures that he always is accessible over DBO. Comrade, I have no hesitation saying that you are a bundle of positive energy and we are all waiting to hear you for what is happening and develop. Comrade, we thank you for upholding the tradition of IBOC National Secretaries gracing DBO Biennial Conference. It is indeed our privilege to have you among us. I express our sincere gratitude for keeping your date with DBO one more time. My entire team joins you in welcoming you to the 19th Biennial Conference of DBO. Comrade Srinath Indijudan has been working overtime since he became the General Secretary of Kerala IBOC. The enormous amount of liaison that the state unit did with the state government during the lockdowns are really worth mentioning and needs real appreciation. We understand that the comrade is fast rising in the steps of the organizational hierarchy of UBOA as well. We acknowledge with great amount of gratitude that comrade has picked another very important event in his own unit to be present here in our meeting to continue the tradition of state secretaries gracing the DBO Biennial. It is my absolute honor and privilege to welcome Comrade Srinath Indijudan into our 19th Biennial Conference. Our President, Comrade Rajesh KN, has been a great source of strength to us with his commitment and never dare die attitude. In spite of the fact that the bank has kept him professionally too busy, unlike his counterparts in other banks, his support and guidance are really immeasurable. For the sake of formality, I welcome you, Comrade, into the conference. Comrade Abraham and the support team had made very good arrangements for the smooth conduct of this conference. This acquires all the more importance since we had a very short time to complete the arrangements this time. For the sake of formality, I wholeheartedly welcome Comrade Abraham and the entire machinery who toiled hard to make the Google really happen. There are so many senior executives present here, and I welcome you all to the conference. We have other senior professionals who grace important positions of our bank. You are all very closer to our hearts, and your presence here has really made our day. It is my privilege to welcome all the senior executives of the bank, and let us give them all a big round of applause. There are leaders of our sister organizations in our bank here. We are really honored by your presence today in our signature event. There are UFB leaders and also leaders of other affiliates of IBOC present here. I won't want to venture into taking names, end up missing one or two. You all had been a great source of support to us, and we really appreciate your presence today in your conference. I am very much honored to welcome you all, you comrades, to our 19th Biennial Conference. I am wholeheartedly welcome our friends from the electronic and print media who have come here to cover the event. I request a proper and wide coverage for this event to all. I could not have made it any shorter as the personalities present here are that tall. Now I will give way and would become an absolute listener. I would also prompt you all to become good and disciplined listeners for the rest of this meeting. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. We have with us someone who is very close to our heart. This gentleman has been able to infuse a lot of positive energy and confidence into Dhanlakshmi Bank and its employees in a very short span of time. A lot of branches have got the much needed makeover in the past few months, and more are happening as we sit here right now. The image of the bank in the eyes of the customers and the public have definitely changed for good with all these positive measures. May I now invite the chief guest for the day, respected Managing Director and CEO of Dhanlakshmi Bank, Mr. Shivan JK, to formally inaugurate the conference by lighting the lamp and delivering the inaugural address. May I now request our beloved MD to formally inaugurate the conference, the 19th Biennial Conference of DBOO.
Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Sri Soumyadatta ji, Mr. Rajesh, Mr. Manoj, Balaji is Balaji, then Srinath Indrajudan, and others on the dais, and senior retired members of Dhalashmi Bank, earlier office bearers of the unions in other banks, and my dear colleagues. I'm so happy today that, normally you have a Zoom meeting to get your message across to our own colleagues, but the IVOC and the Dhalashmi DBOO has arranged such a wonderful forum to interact with you and share my thoughts. I had my earlier education in Thrissur for 2 years. That was about 40 years back. I still remember an incident where Mr. Kalishwaran was our Vice Chancellor of the Agriculture University. And as it sometimes happened, the Honorable Minister could not come. So we had to have the inauguration of the function done by the District Collector. And Mr. Kalishwaran was Additional Chief Secretary rank at that time. So he just couldn't digest it and he had to say some words which is not very palatable, but I still remember that incident. But this has happened to me earlier also. In Gujarat, where I was there for almost 6 years, I was very much a part of the Malayali Association. So normally if some chief guest doesn't turn up, they know whom to call. So it's okay. And having said that, I really looked forward to the minister's presence today. Because today morning papers I saw minister inaugurating some event in Thrissur district. So I thought 100% sure Honorable Minister will be coming. And it will be a great opportunity for us to interact with the minister. Maybe some other call is there. But on this stage, I want to tell that Honorable Minister of Finance, Mr. Balagopal, has been very helpful to our bank. So we should give a... It is not because he has been invited, I am saying. He has been so very helpful to this bank. And whatever measures that we have put in and whatever requests that we have made, Sir Balagopal sir has been very, very, forthcoming in his help. So I place on gratitude the special mention and special thanks from the bank side to the Honorable Finance Minister of Kerala. I will come to this topic a little later. First, a few things I thought I will share with you. Two years almost gone because of a pandemic. And last year, we know, like the previous financial year, almost 4 months we could not function. And it's pandemic and everybody has to take care of themselves. Protocol has to be taken care of. So we had to do it. And when we thought everything was okay, we have a war which came out of nowhere. We have oil at $130 to $140 a barrel. We have the rupee falling down to its, 78, 17, almost it will touch 78. Next week it will touch 78. And but for RBI, we would have crossed 80 long time back. Interest rates are going up like anything. 40 basis points out of turn. The Reserve Bank had to increase the rates. So you know what is coming. We are inflation at 7.8%. But we are yet to, the Thrissur Bank is yet to declare our results. You would have seen the performance of banks. Exceptionally well, most of the banks have performed the last financial year. And why this has happened? Because everything works in cycles. 2015, we had the quality review, the AQR, what we call, from Governor Rajan's time, when we had to recognize a lot of NPA. And from that side, it was a big downward slide for the banks. Most of the banks were having credit costs of 2 to 3% every year. Now, if you look at the credit cost, it's 0.1%, 0.15. So the provisions required have decreased quite a lot. So it's a wonderful time for the banks to consolidate and go forward with their own innovations and investments in technology. So at this stage, since our results are not declared, I can only touch on what is happening in the Thrissur Bank. Because we are a bank under close watch by the regulator. We have a case in the High Court. I don't want another case from SEBI or the stock exchange. So that's why I'll be very careful in whatever I say about our results. But this much I can assure you that we are on the right path. The bank is on the right path. When I joined, there are so many people advised me, why do you take this assignment? See, you are a retired guy, why do you want to take this assignment? But then there is some calling that you have and then you join. Second thing they told me was, 13 months, 6 months, you are what, 5 months or what? This is what you will last. So I am now running into the 16th month now. And most of the things that, it's an organization works on its people. It's not like a one-man affair or something. That is the first message that I have given to my executives. If the executives are efficient, they do their own work, they take their decisions at their own level, then things will move forward. And this message has come down up to the junior-most person in the bank. That is the best part that has happened in the bank. I can share this much information that on all parameters we will improve in the last financial year. During this financial year, it will be really a way forward for the bank. This I can assure you that will be there. More than that, you please do not ask me more details as of now. So 19th is our financial results, so we have to keep quiet about it. Then, what are the concerns that are a bank? I know in this, I differ a lot with Soumyaji, my ex-colleague in State Bank of India who is there on the dais. I have my own ideas. It may be right, it may not be wrong. First of all, I thank the IBOC and the union. The Officers Association has brought in so many changes. I'm not talking just about the 11th bipartite. We have reached up to the 11th bipartite. And everybody is skeptical whether there will be a 12th bipartite or not. It always happens. Even at the time of 11th also we thought whether 11th will be there or not. Now everybody is speculating whether there will be a 12th bipartite or not. The number of banks have shrunk like anything. From 27, I think we have 12. And 2 more on the block. Why is it that we should have some introspection on why is it that these things are happening? What is the biggest concern of a bank operating in India today? The biggest concern of a bank operating in India today is to get capital. Without capital, you cannot move forward. You can't move an inch without capital. Capital is your own money. Without skin in the game, no regulator will ever allow a bank to go forward. So that could be the thinking on all the actions taken by the government. Maybe that is thinking. And how do we raise capital? We have to raise capital either from an investor or from the market. When do we? You have to make yourself attractive. So the Thrissur Bank is a bank where we have had issues with the investors, the directors, and I'm not going into issues with it. But if you have a little introspection, we will see that there is a point of view of the shareholders also. What have we done for the shareholders? Shareholders are the owners. If we do not meet the aspirations of the shareholders, at some time or the other, they will turn back. Either they will dump you, or they will shift their shares to somebody else, or maybe you will reach in a situation that, like, we have to look for outside help. So the first duty of all of us working, because see, there are four clear stakeholders in any business, particularly in a bank. Customers are at top, they are number one. Then we have our own employees, we have the society at large, and then we have our owners, who are the shareholders. So I've been from beginning saying that most of the angst and I have interacted with almost every shareholder individually, all the large shareholders individually. I have started from September last year, I have started sending statements of the results also. And this results also, immediately I will be corresponding with all the shareholders. We have a bounden duty to make our shareholders happy. This quarter, Dhanashri Bank is coming with a rights issue. I have spoken to you separately also. I have been asked not to speak publicly on this matter till such time without that is the request from that. But still, I can say that all of us, it is our bounden duty to make this rights issue a success. I request for all help from all of you on this. Everybody, whatever we can do, we have to interact with the shareholders and see that they subscribe to the rights issue and then take it forward. This quarter, we need that body desperately. That is very clear. Second aspect which I thought was on the cost. There is always a thinking. Do you control cost or do you increase income? Now, even in the board, we had a lot of deliberations on this, whether we should be controlling cost. And controlling cost, even in personal life or in an organization, you know that there is a limit to which you can control cost. So you can switch off the lights, AC, the small things you can do. But that is a limit to which you can control costs. The future lies in increasing the income. And the trend of increasing the income through our own operations has now set into the bank. That is like, I thank each one of you for this. There is a thinking that from operations we have to make money. We have to make margins from operations. That thought process has come into all the officer community and all the employees of the bank also. On this occasion, I just personally thank all of you to have spread this message, the association members. They have been very, very, upfront about it. I have also told them the same thing, that we have to increase income at every level. You see, what are the issues with the bank faces? I had an interaction with an NBFC owner. 18% they charge, nobody says anything. You look at a small finance bank, they operate at 18 to 24% is what they charge their customers. Nobody says a word. What is their margin? 8 to 9% minimum. Still nobody says a word. A bank charges 10 basis points extra, that is 0.1% extra. There are 100 people ready to complain to you that you are charging extra. This is how we work. We work in such a, what we call, razor-thin margin situation. So every point we have to control. We have to increase our income in every activity that we do. And what is it different from us? The regulator has given us the permission to take deposits from the bank, from the public. It is a cost that, for that particular reason, we are regulated like anything. What is the elephant in the room? The elephant in the room is not staff cost. Elephant in the room is actually the cyber security and information technology cost that we are going to incur. For increasing some facility for the officers, I need to spend only 1 crore, 1.5 crores. But just for a small change in the cyber security thing, it's 10 to 15 crores because it's a monopoly. There's only one provider giving that. So we have to incur that kind of money as a bank because cyber security, there is no shortcuts. What is the prescribed norm, we have to do. So this is a part of it. So I'm just sharing with you that banks and employees have to keep this in mind, that in every transaction, every operation, let us always think about what margin we can make on it. Service-wise, Dhanashri Bank officers, staff, I have not got any maybe once in a while I got, maybe if I get 10 letters appreciating staff for their friendliness and seeing to it that things are taken care. Once occasionally I get one or two random cases of letters of complaint, but normally I never get any complaints. And I am coming from an organization where like complaint is the order of the day. Not just in my earlier organization, even staff get complaints. I mean, I am scared to go to some of my earlier branches. It's such a situation. Whereas Dhanlakshmi Bank, we have never had such occasion at all. So that is a special thanks to all of you. On Friday, I had an interaction with the regional director of Reserve Bank of India, and we have a new SSM also. So, Madam also, I invited SSM to come early and interact with us. They are happy in the way we are progressing, although a lot of things have to be done. I am not touching on the governance issues and the director board issues at all, because that is a different concern, which we should not discuss it is very much there. All of you are aware of all the issues that are happening. But otherwise, conduct of the bank on every process and procedures, compliance with the regulations, we are reaching the best possible levels we are reaching. A special thanks to all of you who are part of this. Now I come to a little different thought process, which I shared something when Comrade Venkatachalam was there on this, when you had the AABA conference earlier. I have a different take on what should be the association's way of struggle. One first prescription that I give, it's my own thought process, nothing to do with any association or with the bank or anything, it's my personal thought. The government of the day, you have to support overtly. Please do not try to take the government of the day head on. I mean the state government and also the central government. Our struggle is separate. Struggle to get better things is separate. Please do not try to make pot shots at the government of the day. If you are having an open line, you will find that most of the things that you want to do, we have to be very selfish in our motive as an organization. We should try to get what we want to do. What we desire, we should try to get. At the same time, our struggle should go on. But overtly, I have read certain articles written by certain association members. You should not try to pick on things which are not in our domain. Be a part of the labor movement, be a part of the workers' movement, but please do not take the government head on. And we have a strong government in the center, a very strong government in the state also. That is a principle that I follow. For our own betterment, we should, as a bank, as an officer community, as an employee community, we should always look at what is good for us. That selfish desire should be there. It's entirely my own thought process. Okay. Second thing, I touched on it last time when Comrade Venkatachalam was also there at that time. That is, aspirational level of employees should go up. You should always aspire to do something better. Do some courses. If you have a chance to work in credit, work in risk management, risk in operations, transactional banking, if you get that chance, please do not let it go. A little comfort zone, if you move out of your comfort zone, you will find that how much better equipped you are to face the world. Because we do not know 10 years from now what will be the situation. 10 years before, or maybe 5 years before, they said there will be no bank. But at least all of us are very much there. Some banks have reduced in number. There is a churn taking place. There is a consolidation taking place. But all of us are very much there. And being a large country, 140 crore people, we know that like banks will very much be there. There are like lot of unbanked population. So banks will be relevant all the time. At the same time, be aspirational. Again, once again, for the sake of repetition, I am saying, please try to equip yourself in whatever you are doing. Then number 3, gone are the days when we used to get big commission amounts and other things. The future lies in transactional banking. The future lies in getting 5 rupees, 10 rupees from every transaction that we do. Our bank is moving towards that. We are consolidating our operations. We are consolidating our credit management also to see that like in every transaction, that should be our aim. Either I should gain money or I should gain deposits which I can deploy and gain money. That should be our aim in everything that we do. So that the banks as a whole, I am not even broaching into the subject of fintechs, on lending, co-lending, BC modeling. No, I am not broaching all those subjects. It's another separate thing altogether. But our staff have to be aspirational. Please equip yourself. So 10 years down the line, where are we? What should we be doing? How are we equipped to get into a new thing? See, people say about, equipping yourself. It's like, first 10 years back, 15 years back, I also thought it was an idle talk. But now I find that more and more you prepare yourself, you are better off to face the day. So I have an earnest request to all of you, on your personal capacity, whatever courses you can do, whatever skills you can learn, maybe it's cybersecurity, on transactional banking, on credit side, please try. And I have told the HR head also, from the bank side, whatever is the cost that is there, we should have a scheme where we'll be reimbursing the entire thing on aspirational side, on getting on the job knowledge side and aspirational side. So this is a plea to you. There are certain other things which I wanted to speak. I had spoken last time also. The costs are ballooning. We have to have an eye on the cost. But as I said earlier, if we look at income and we concentrate on income, easily we can make up for the cost. The bank, I can assure you on this step that it is on a growth path. 2021-22 was like a difficult year. With all this, still I think we will be posting good numbers. 22-23, we are there. We are almost on a growth path. Each one of your contribution will actually add up to this. And once it is there, once we reach a growth path of, say, typically what I would say is like 100 crores of minimum net profit, operational income increasing every year, every quarter operational income increasing. With these things, the bank can come back. It will become attractive to investors. It will become attractive to shareholders. Their concerns also will be sorted out once the market realizes our value. So this is something which I wanted to share. It's not in the normal course of thing, but then if I agree on whatever Somyaji says, then I will be doing injustice. Thanks very much for this opportunity. I take this and I formally inaugurate the 19th Biennial Conference of DBOO. Thanks so much for inviting me. Look forward to hearing from Tobeji and others. Thank you so much for inviting me for this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for being the beacon of light for us and for the bank. As you rightly said, the market is full of negatives and we are going through a tough time. But we are sure that with an efficient captain like you, we will ride through this wave successfully. We are taking your suggestions in the right spirit. The excitement is reaching a high now. We had Shivan sir to enlighten us with his words of wisdom, and we have 2 more firebrand leaders coming up. Despite DBOO being a small affiliate of ABOC, Comrade Soumya Datta, affectionately known as Soumya Da, has always been a part of all of our activities. He has once again come to us on this important day, and we are sure that he'll be with us in all our future events as well. Let us welcome our beloved Soumya Da, General Secretary of ABOC, to the dais with a big round of applause.
Very good morning to all. President of the meeting, respected MD sir, my dear friend Manoj, General Secretary, Srinath, my brother and State Secretary, one of the, as rightly said, the future of AIBOC. And Comrade Abraham, the respected seniors, I can see Comrade Mohanan, Comrade Madam, who is the president of the association, and all the seniors who are there to build the edifice of this mighty organization brick by brick. And comrades from all over the country who have come here to attend the 19th Biennial of DBOO. It's my proud privilege to come here and address you. I was just recollecting, this is my 15th visit to Thrissur in the last 4 years. And for DBOO, I have come at least 5 or 6 times. I'm really happy to share this stage with our respected MD sir, who hails from my mother institution. In fact, I was just recollecting, 2 of my batchmates are heading 2 public sector banks, and so many others from State Bank of India, they are now heading public sector banks or old generation private sector banks. I'm certain that in the last 16 months, he has been instrumental in ensuring a paradigm shift of the approach of the bank management, in the functioning of the bank, in ensuring transparency, in ensuring customer delight, not only for the external customers, but also for the internal customers who are present here in such large numbers today. I'm certain within 1 year, I had a discussion a few days back, that he was convinced that he would make DB Dhanarashmi Bank in an autopilot mode. So irrespective of the fact who becomes the chairman or MD of the bank will be on a trajectory of growth. The bank will be improving by the day. That is his vision. All leaders have a vision. And somewhere, the institution always takes the top priority. Of course, there are individuals who thought themselves bigger to be the organizations. We have also experienced that. Some of them who had been in this part of the country, who thought that their ego was larger than the institution's ego. So those individuals are also there, but by and large, the head of a bank, public sector bank, or an old generation private sector bank, which functions basically like a public sector bank that caters to the common common citizenry of the country, we have a responsibility, and we cannot forget our roots and our cause and for what we are working for. Now, at the outset, I'd like to thank the management for ensuring that whatever was signed on the historic 8 joint note, I'll come to the 8 joint note slightly later, has been implemented in Dhanarashmi Bank, which has not been implemented in several banks, including Catholic Syrian Bank or Lakshmi Vilas Bank. I'm certain after the numbers are declared, our MD sir was giving a broad hint, dropped a very broad hint that the numbers will be rosier, brighter, and it will also ensure that PLI would be paid to all officers and employees. You have a certain matrix, at least in State Bank of India, by virtue of our base, we cannot go beyond 5% growth of operating profits. Such large is our base. Even the smaller banks, they register more than 15% growth in operating profits, and all the officers and employees are entitled to 15 days of PLI. But in State Bank, despite being the leader in the industry, we are getting only 5 days of PLI. But that is different. Now, coming back to the issues, let me tell you that this perhaps for the last time I'll be addressing this conference in my present capacity. It has been a wonderful journey. When I took over as AIBOC General Secretary on 1st of July 2018, everybody has a vision. Now, there are 4 stars in AIBOC's logo. 1 star symbolizes State Bank of India and the nationalist banks. 2nd star, the regional rural banks. 3rd is the private sector banks. 4th is the cooperative banks. Now, we all know what is public sector banks and the interest of State Bank of India. Now, one of the best, I've been getting so many bouquets and brickbats. One of the best ever compliments I received was from former General Secretary of Indian Bank, Comrade Rajendran. Comrade Rajendran. He told me sometime before his retirement that normally whenever an IBOC General Secretary is from State Bank of India, other public sector banks, they have, an apprehension that during the wage settlement or revision and all, the focus will be on SBI and not on the interest of other banks. But then he said that I am finding a General Secretary who represents the entire diaspora of banking, not restricted to only State Bank of India. And in fact, in my own federation, it is an allegation that I am not looking after the interest of our affiliates, of our State Bank officers. Rather, I am concentrating more on, the AIBOC. It is a conundrum. It is a conundrum that we also accept and live. It's a live, that is sometimes macro issues, they occupy a larger, priorities, they larger focus. And sometimes when we deal with a smaller issue, quote unquote smaller, of course those issues are very important. So my priorities were very clear, that we have to focus on RRBs, we have to focus on old generation private sector banks, which are under threat. We know what has happened in Catholic Syrian Bank. Erstwhile, what has happened in Dhanalakshmi Bank, Comrade Mohanan, is testimony that what a leader can be, what a leader ultimately he can sacrifice to uphold his basic ethics and principles. He has never compromised on his ethics and principles while taking forward the fight. And he has paid a price. He has paid a heavy price. But then that did not deter him from, succumbing to the pressure or to compromise on his ethics and principles. I salute you, comrade. And that is the vision of every leader. When you compromise, no leader worth his salt will ever compromise on his ethics and principles. Sometimes, yes, there are understandings, broader understandings. Sometimes you have to yield, for a broader interest. But then, if you compromise the interest of your members, compromise the interest of your fraternity, that leader has no right to remain in his position. That is my personal belief. On that note, we approach the 8th joint note. See, for officers is the joint note, for workmen is the bipartite. They have signed the 11th bipartite, we have signed our 8th joint note. And when the 8th joint note was signed, like since I was there at the pivotal role, something I had promised, that we will improve the last joint note on several counts and ensure that the fraternity, interest of the fraternity at large, right from the junior most member to the senior most, is not compromised. And we stuck to our decision. There were several hindrances, like the mandate. Several big banks, including State Bank of India, refused to give mandate beyond scale 3. That was a first major obstacle. And on that note, we walked out of the settlement on 30th of November 2018. And for the first time in 35 years, AIBOC on its own strength gave a strike call on 21st of December 2018, which was a game changer. Nobody ever imagined that AIBOC could go on strike on its own strength. And what a strike it was. That changed the landscape of banking trade union movement. The power shifted from the workmen to the officers. And AIBOC became the dominant force in the entire banking industry. Now in any industry, unless AIBOC takes part in a strike, no strike can go through. A strike has been called in Central Bank of India. There is desperate, attempts to make our affiliate join the strike. They have their reservations on the issues. But unless it is, why this desperation? One, of course, the unity is there. But then everybody knows unless AIBOC takes part in a strike, the strike will not come through. That is our respect in the industry. That is the way the government sees us as a formidable force. Our sirs, respected MD said not to take the government head on. I'll come to that, sir. I'll respond to it later. But that is a force, that a potency of the organization. And because we serve the interest of the entire diaspora, that without having any bias to any particular segment, we have been able to reach out to the nooks and corners of the country, reach out to the masses, to our officers, and for the first time in the history, even the junior most officer has got a pay hike of 15%. We have ensured that. It has never ever happened. I have never got a hike in my entire career of 35 years of more than 9 or 10% gross. But this time is that happened. We have factored in so many new concepts have been. Every salary revision has their own share of history. It will go down, our salary revision will go down in the annals of history. This is the first time from the junior most to the senior most, everybody was entitled to the 15% pay hike and they got it. So 2 new chapters were added. Segments were added on the left-hand side of the wage slip. The location allowance, the learning allowance which carried DA. This is introduced for the first time. Location allowance, those who do not reside in metros, they are able to draw an allowance. We have created so much of improvement. It was my personal agenda that all the defense assistants, we call the defense councils, when we go out to defend somebody, we were denied of our basic rights, fundamental rights of boarding and lodging. Suppose I am in Thrissur, I am going out to represent somebody in Bombay. The charge sheeted officer is entitled for boarding and lodging. The witness is entitled for boarding and lodging, who is also a bank officer. The presenting officer, who is the bank officer, he is also entitled for boarding and lodging. The inquiring authority is entitled for boarding and lodging. But myself, a defense counsel, I am not entitled for boarding and lodging. And this was something which needed to be addressed. I had approached each and every IBOC Johnson, including late Comrade R.N. Godbole. They said, why is this discrimination? And nobody found an answer. But this time it was our personal agenda. We will make it happen, and it has happened. It has happened. IBA advisory has come to all banks that all defense counsels, when they go to different cases outside their place of domicile, they would be entitled for boarding and lodging. So there are so many integrities. I think it has been detailed in the very crisp, concise Secretary's report placed by Comrade Manoj. It will be deliberated, I think, in the second session, right? But I have gone through, I glanced through the report and I found it very, I'll be taking so many inputs from the report. Now, coming back to the present situation, all of you know what is happening in Catholic Syrian Bank. But many of you are not aware what is happening in Lakshmi Vilas Bank. Now, Lakshmi Vilas Bank is another 93-year-old institution. All of a sudden, they had, as Sir rightly said, capital was an issue due to this reckless lending by their former, functionaries. The bank was in trouble. And at the 11th hour, they withdrew their mandate from the 8th joint note. They refused to give mandate for the salary revision. And now, after the bank was taken over by a multinational, DBS, what happened was that now the attack is on social security. They have come out with an offer to both workmen and officers that they want to buy out the pension. And there will be no family pension in future. If any pensioner dies, their family, the nominee will be paid a lump sum amount. There will be no monthly payouts. So this is the reality. This is the reality that is in store, not only for the old generation of private sector banks, which are basically low-hanging fruits. The government knows that until and unless they change the banking amendment, they can table the banking amendment bill, which will change the Banking Companies Acquisition and Transfer of Undertakings Act of 1970 and 1980 and the BR Act of 1949. They will not be able to privatize a single public sector bank. But the old generation private sector banks are, low-hanging fruits. If they can be targeted by these multinationals, they can make inroads into the banking space. All of us know this country is being run by a few crony corporate houses who are controlling the entire country. They are controlling each and every segment. They have divided, like the coal. The logistics is owned by somebody. The mines are being owned by somebody. This duopoly is ruling the country. And this is the only space that they have not yet ventured into directly. The banking industry. Now look at the people, every sector, every day, some company is being sold off, public sector undertaking. Now, what is the response of the common people? When the insurance bill was passed, nobody bothered. This LIC IP was floated. Yes, the employees protested. What is the general response of the public? You see the issue being subscribed by the retail investors. Now, when the telecom, BSNL was, MTNL was almost throttled. They were, strangulated. Nobody thought anything. But then, suddenly when the data charges increased from 599 to 719, suddenly you feel the pinch. When these oil companies will be sold off, nobody will protest. But suddenly, already gas, the price of a cylinder is gone through the roof, 1,000 plus. Now somebody posted some message to me. See, the actual price of a cylinder is 300. But we are paying 700 for pressing the wrong button while voting. That is the demurrage we are paying. The price of a cylinder is 1,000, 300 is the actual cost, 700 is our own folly for having pressed the wrong button by electing a government which does not care for the common man. So, this is how each and every sector, if the highways are privatized, the toll taxes will go up. I come from Calcutta. All of you must be aware of Howrah station. There are two Howrah stations. One is the old, one is the new. All the trains that ply to the south, their terminal is the new building. The platform ticket for the old Howrah is ₹10, for the new it is 50. This is because it has been handed to a private sector, the entire new terminus. So this is what is happening across the country. Now, whenever this industries, this national monetization pipeline, what pipeline, which tanks will be filling? The coffers of those crony corporate houses at the cost of the common people. This is where our strength is. See, for each and every sector, if it is privatized, the common people will not come out on the streets openly. But when banking is being privatized, particularly the public sector banks, now people are afraid. Our narrative cannot be countered by the government. That if tomorrow the banks will fail, we have seen what has happened with Yes Bank. Yes Bank finds a place in the Secretary's report. If tomorrow the banks will fail, where will my deposits will go? How do I get money to withdraw? I've seen what has happened in Yes Bank. When Yes Bank went into a moratorium, even the employees could not withdraw money from account. Even State Bank had to bail it out. So our narrative is very clear. If we can spread the narrative, tomorrow your deposits will not be safe. Be it a public sector bank, be it own generation bank. That is why our slogan comes, Bank Bachao, Desh Bachao. Because FRDI bill we could stop. Because people were concerned about the security of the deposits. The Prime Minister has been assuring, we have got a 5 lakh deposit insurance cover. 90% of the depositors have balances less than 5 lakh. So what is your problem? Your deposits will be safe, but the people will question, if tomorrow the banks close, who will deliver that 5 lakh to my house? If there's a medical emergency in my house, if my daughter is getting married, where from will I withdraw the money? Which bank will honor my ATM card? That is a question that we have taken out to the roots. On that note, we took the government, quote unquote, head on. We had definite information that the banking amendment bill was likely to be tabled in the winter session. And we conceptualized a slogan in the month of April in Kolkata. That let us come out with a slogan that will connect with the masses about the entire gamut of privatization. That Bank Bachao, Desh Bachao. We have to have a nationalistic flavor. This government is selling national assets while preaching for nationalism. Let us counter them in the same language, the same thought process. Let us focus on nationalism. Let us focus on our country. That was how the slogan Bank Bachao, Desh Bachao was coined. Bank represents not only the public sector banks, the real rural, it represents the cooperative. Even if the cooperative bank goes down, the trust of the citizenry will be hit. So our slogan with that slogan, and we wanted a unique movement against the government to highlight our movement. We created the Facebook page. Comrade Srinath will be, in his speech, will be detailing how you can join this page. Manoj has spoken, but I'm certain many of you may have liked the page, but I'm certain 99% of the comrades have not sent out invitations to all your contacts. That is how we can reach. Suppose there are 400 comrades inside the hall today. Almost 95% will have Facebook accounts. On an average, everybody has 500 friends. If you can send out invitation by downloading Facebook Lite, you can select all, and that option Srinath will be speaking. We can hit 2 lakh invitations right from this hall. 2 lakh invitations can be sent. And out of that, 50% will be non-bankers, and they can follow our page where we are developing very beautiful content. We have got a huge bank of short films that people can relate, common people can relate. Why this movement has been launched. So I urge all of you to join the page. Comrade Srinath will be detailing. Now on that note, we wanted a unique movement which was never done in the history of banking trade union movement. We conceptualized a Jatha, a Bharat Yatra. One leg commenced from Calcutta, one leg from Mumbai. From Kolkata, we were on a bus, 40 of us. We crisscrossed the entire country. From Bengal, we went to Jharkhand, then to Bihar, then traversed across Uttar Pradesh, eastern and western, because UP was going to polls. And wherever we went, we met with the villagers, the rural artisans, the farmers, the self-help group workers, and everybody, people came down. We had Prabhat ferries, morning rallies, we had public meetings, and I will never forget, a minute of that historic journey. When we started the journey, and it was covered on the national media. When we commenced the journey, one very important Bengali electronic media, ABP Bengali, they came to me and their journalist, their correspondent asked, Dada, are you sure that you will be able to complete the journey? What he did not ask, do you think that you can get arrested? I said this dialogue in Hindi, Rok sake to rok lo. Stop us if you can. On that note, we started, and we covered Banaras. A lot of national media was supposed to cover. NDTV gave a wide coverage, Ravish Kumar, and suddenly there was this, this imposition of a stricture that the last moment the media people backed out. They told us that we have received word that not to cover your rally. In fact, all the bank MDs, including former IBA chairman, they got a call from Prime Minister's office. Who is this person, Soumya Datta? Is he a communist? What is this organization AIBUC? Is it a political outfit? Then even our chairman Dinesh Khara sir got a call. And they were told that AIBUC is an unique organization. It is not connected to any central political trade union. It has no political identity. It espouses the cause of the officers. And the general secretary is not connected to any political party. And they suddenly, they woke up to the realization that thousands of officers were on streets. Our page was growing. When we started the journey, it was 45,000. By the time we reached Jantar Mantar on 30th of November, and that was a historic rally. We addressed from that rally, we gave a clear-cut call to the challenge to the government that if you table the bill and get it passed, we will be ensuring that we will reach all the voters of all the states going to the polls, including Uttar Pradesh. We are connected to 120 crore of the population, and our voice matters. If we campaign it to expose your faulty policies, why you are privatizing the banks, it will be reflected in the ballot boxes what happened in West Bengal. Before the West Bengal poll, I addressed several rallies. There was a platform called No Vote to BJP. I was invited. I said I will limit my speech only to the bank privatization. And I will not ask people to vote for any particular political party. But then I attended 15 such rallies, which was attended. Even one rally had attracted 10,000 audience was there. So it created an impact. We told that it will be reflected in the ballot box. Exactly that is what happened in West Bengal. Of course, there were other factors. But we also played our part. Our AIBUC state unit played a part. And that was the challenge we threw from the Jantar Mantar. That picture abhi baki hai mera dost. ये सिर्फ ट्रेलर था. So when we reached Kolkata, after 3-4 weeks, the same journalist came to me, said that, Dada, due to this agitation, this Bharat Yatra, and after the 2-day strike called by UPU, this bill has not been tabled. So you have succeeded. Then I said, Pushpa, ये IBC झुकेगा नहीं. But this was the conviction. That was a conviction that, yes, we have created history. We have created history. That was a new movement conceptualized. And for that, we need our Facebook page to grow, so that people can be connected. Now, once again, I have strong reasons to believe that this monsoon session, this bill again will be tabled. Maybe in a new avatar. Maybe they will tinker with the old draft. But almost certain that this bill is going to come in this monsoon session. It did not come in the budget session due to the elections. Now after the elections, after the results, the government has got a boost after the UP election results. Now once again this bill is maybe in the pipeline. So let us prepare our grounds. Let us prepare ourselves, all units. DBOO, although it may be quote unquote small in size, but it has a commanding presence. The members are committed. They repose utmost trust in the leadership who takes up all their cause, who work for the bank. They are partners in progress. If the bank has grown, a large credit should go to one of the major stakeholders, that is DBOO. Because this is an officer-driven industry. Yes, there are workmen too. But then, the banks are driven by officers. And if it is an officer-driven industry, the self-esteem and dignity of officers have to be protected. That is our mission. That is across the banks. Now, coming back to the emerging struggle, as I said, yes, what Sir said rightly, capital is required for banks. Now, for the public sector banks, the government has pumped in capital. They say that we have pumped in 6 lakh crore over the last 5 years. But what they do not mention, they have written off over 9 lakh crores by haircuts. And what is the amount of tax and dividend they get from banks? If you add up, their capital has been, they have generated so much of profit. So what is the need for this sudden, the shedding of their responsibility? Because they are also, the Shylocks are demanding their pound of flesh. The Shylocks who have propped up this government, they are demanding their pound of flesh. They have invested in the government. As Sir said, the shareholders want their return. The investors of this particular government, they want their return. And that is why they want these banks to be sold off as a part of the contract. They want oil companies to be sold off, coal to be sold off. We are staring at a tremendous power crisis. Tremendous power crisis. Why this has happened? The private companies are importing coal at exorbitant prices. We could be staring at sheer power crisis. Ultimately, it will benefit only to the private sector players. So this is the broad understanding that we have. That is why we want to quote unquote take the government head on, expose their policies, not only for us. We know what will happen if the banks are privatized. If tomorrow some XYZ takes over Dhanalakshmi Bank, what will happen to the officers, we know. They'll be shown the door within 1 year. Pension will be stopped for the pensioners. And we need to create an awareness. We have to get everybody around us, rally around us to protect our banks, protect our identity, protect the interest of the common citizenry, because we represent the banks, not only the public sector bank, the old generation private sector banks, they are reaching out, as I said, to the common citizenry. What will happen to the low-cost loans, as Sir was saying? Our banks give microfinance credit to self-help groups at 3% per annum, while Bandhan Bank charges 3% per month, 2.5% per month. They are fleecing in the name of financial inclusion. The people are getting financially excluded. That is the model of microfinance. Actually, by involving, getting more and more people into the banking net, they are fleecing the common people of the country who cannot afford 2 square meals a day. That is the challenge. We cannot let that happen. That is why let us focus. Let us consolidate. Let us bring everybody under one platform, because the pensioners are looking up to us for their social security. The students are looking up to us to find a job in the banks. For the social justice, SC, ST, OBC, what will happen to them if the banks are not there, if the railways are not there? Who will give them employment? Who will generate employment? These are the questions that government needs to answer. These are the questions we have put up to the MPs. Now the parliament has been resonating with the slogan, Bank Bachao, Desh Bachao. It was such a heartening for me when I found MPs shouting slogans, Bank Bachao, Desh Bachao. The railway workers have been inspired by our slogan. They have coined the slogan, Rail Bachao, Desh Bachao. BSNL has coined the slogan, BSNL Bachao, Desh Bachao. Power sector employees are fighting on the slogan, Power sector Bachao, Desh Bachao. So our Bank Bachao, Desh Bachao page is now a universal thing. It has reached nooks and corners of the country. People want to save the nation from this draconian rule, regimen, dispensation that wants only to fill the coffer of the capitalists, the industrialists, and to exploit the common people who have voted this government to power. So on that note, I wish this 19th Biennial Conference an outstanding success. It is already a success. Every time I find different. Last time it was green. I find this, this pen, everything. Our jute bags, the flower pots that has been given. That is all given in jute bags, which contain the emblem Bank Bachao, Desh Bachao. So Balaji has come out with something novel every time. He wants to screen a special film against privatization. In sync with my speech will end and the premiere of this particular film will begin. And on that note, as I will be heading into sunset 6 months from now, but let me ensure that AIBOC is in an autopilot mission. Whoever be the leader, the focus of the organization will be take the movement forward. We have leaders like Srinath waiting in the wings. We have so many brilliant leaders across the country who have been groomed up by their predecessors, who have been given responsibility to take this mighty organization forward, to take the great legacy that was given this, visionary leaders like Comrade R.N. Godbole, Comrade Shanti Shendgupta, Comrade Shanta Raju, and all. We are carrying the legacy, the baton. We'll pass it to the younger generation tomorrow, who will be leading the movement and to espouse the cause of the members as well as for the interest of the country. On that note, I end my speech. I thank the organizers for providing me this opportunity to meet you all. Come to the cultural capital of Kerala, Thrissur, for the 15th time. I hope this is not my last time. So stay safe, stay healthy, work for the bank, work for the organization, make your organization proud. Both the bank and both DBOO, make it a name that will be in the history for years to come. Let us salute AIBOC long live, DBOO long live. Bank Bachao! Bank Bachao!
Desh Bachao!
Thank you, comrades.
Thank you very much, Comrade Soumyadatta, for charging us up. 15 visits to Thrissur in 4 years is a lot. At this rate, you can even consider shifting your base to Thrissur. We will ensure it is worth. We now have a DBOO special event created especially for today. We had informed earlier that we would be screening a short film titled No Answer during our biennial. This film is wonderfully conceptualized, written and directed by Comrade Suresh Narayanan, and music is by Comrade Srinesh Prabhu, who has added one more feather to his cap. Comrade Ragesh Chandran has portrayed a character, and here it is a stellar performance.
This is primarily an attempt to create awareness on an issue that will, in all likelihood, affect the lives of many people in the lower portion of the pyramid, including small and marginal farmers and farm workers. The poster of this creation was released by Comrade Srinath Hinduchudan, the State Secretary of AIBOC. I invite Comrade Soumyadatta, General Secretary of AIBOC, to release the short film, No Answer.
മോൻ ചേട്ടാ, ചേട്ടാ, ചേട്ടാ. എന്താ അവിടെ?
ആ ജിജിമോളോ? 1-ാം തീയതി തന്നെ വന്നല്ലോ എൻ്റെ കുട്ടി.
ആ, എൻ്റെ 31-ാം തീയതിയിലെ ടെൻഷനാണ് ചേട്ടൻ്റെ 1-ാം തീയതിയിലെ പെൻഷൻ.
മോളെ എവിടെ ഒപ്പിടേണ്ടത്?
ഷോ, വീണ്ടും മറന്നോ? ദേ ഇവിടെ, പിന്നെ ഇവിടെ.
ആ, എനിക്കറിയാൻ പാടില്ലാഞ്ഞിട്ടല്ല, ഞാൻ നിന്നൊന്ന് പരീക്ഷിച്ചതാ.
പിന്നെ വേഗം ഒന്ന് ചെയ്തതാ, ബാക്കി പഞ്ചാരിയുടെ ഒക്കെ പിന്നെ. ദേ, ഞാൻ ആ 4-ാമത്തെ വളവ് തിരിയുമ്പോഴേക്കും മഴ പെയ്യും. വിഷമിക്കണ്ട കേട്ടോ. ശരി.
ആ മോളെ, അവിടെ നിന്നേ. ഇതിരിക്കട്ടെ, എൻ്റെ വക ഒരു ചെറിയ സമ്മാനം.
എന്താ ഇത്?
നീ മറന്നോ? നാളെ ഒക്ടോബർ 2 അല്ലേ?
ഓ, ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ. ഹാപ്പി ഗാന്ധി ജയന്തി ഗാന്ധി അപ്പൂപ്പ. അപ്പൊ ശരി, ബൈ ബൈ.
ശരി മോളെ.
Crucial day for National Bank of India today. Will India's oldest and largest bank get privatized? All eyes set on the finance ministry. According to the sources, the proposed disinvestment can drastically change the fate of the loss-making bank.
National Bank of India, the grand old bank, has been running in troubled waters for quite a long time. Now, private equity capital is all set to enter into India's largest bank. Today, we will bring you the exclusive from Mumbai, where the board meeting has been scheduled.
The protesters are on the field while the stock prices are just shooting up. Well, the National Bank of India is in the eye of a storm. The proposed disinvestment plan has sent tremors across the hierarchy of India's oldest and largest bank. What will be the name of the new entity after tomorrow's board meeting? We will bring you the exclusive. Stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, central government during the last month meeting decided to allow private equity into state-owned banks beyond the permissible limits, thereby reducing the government's stake to less than 50%. National Bank of India happens to be one of those banks that was selected to be a part of this stake sale by the government. As per the process laid down, the Board of Directors of National Bank of India, in their meeting held today at their head office at Mumbai, has sorry, has accorded their approval to Measures Abani Corporation. Abani Corporation.
ഓ ആ 1-ാം തീയതി ആണല്ലോ. ഇന്ന് ജിജിമോളെ കണ്ടില്ലല്ലോ.
ഹലോ.
Good evening, NBI. Sharon Maria here.
ഹലോ ഹലോ, ജിജിമോളല്ലേ?
ഹൂ ഇസ് ദിസ്?
I am a farmer.
What farmer? I don't know any farmer.
If you don't know farmer, you don't know your father.
Idiot. Shh. Uff. Shh. Uff.
What a proud moment for us, and what a way to spread the message. The applause says everything there is to say. The fact that DBOO members are behind this project is a matter of pride for all of us. The next speaker for the day is a brand by himself and makes heads turn whenever he walks up to the dais. No major event of DBOO is complete without the presence of the State Secretary of AIBOC, Comrade Srinath Induchudan. Comrade, the stage is all yours.
Hope I am audible. Thank you. Thank you, DBOO, for inviting me and giving me this stage to have a few words. So before going to the formal speech, what I wish to deliver, can you just walk with me for a few minutes, because I have promised Saumuda that we will give minimum 20,000 or 30,000 likes from Kerala within another 1 month. So I just want you to walk with me for a few minutes. Please bear with me. In my speech, I will be definitely deliberating on the reasons on why we are really pursuing with this agenda. So can you make some noise? Are you alive? Can you make some noise for DBOO at least? Please make it louder there, be vocal. Thank you. So everybody is having your phones, because it is an integral part of our life now. So please take the phone, the smartphone you have, please. Please take the phone. Please lift it. Everybody. Great, thank you. So now, please go to the Play Store. Only for Android, it is not for this Mac or OS platforms. It is only for Android phones. Please go to the Play Store. Can I proceed? Okay, thank you. Please type Facebook Lite in the Play Store. Facebook Lite. So everybody have the link to download Facebook Lite? See, at least communicate here. Okay. Please click the install button and you will get it downloaded within a few seconds. I think it will be maximum 1.4 or 2 MB. It will not load your phone. So I swear. 1.6 MB only. So hope it is installed. So now you just scroll down through your apps to find that Facebook Lite in the mobile screen. Facebook Lite. Do you have the icon? You please click the Facebook Lite icon. Yeah, open button will come. You can just click that also. So now if you have your Facebook account in the normal Facebook platform installed in your Android phone and logged in, it will automatically fetch your account. Facebook Lite will automatically fetch your account. So you select your account. So are you in Facebook Lite? So you are in. Now please type in the search button on the rightmost corner. You click the search button and type Bank Bachao Desh Bachao. BANK space BACHAO. With this you will get the page. The rating is 4.8 and the likes are almost 1.75 lakhs. So you have located the page. Bank Bachao Desh Bachao. So you are in the page. Please click that and get into the page. Yeah, you just please make it, you ensure that the page what you are in has 1.75 lakh likes. 1.5 crores kiya na dada. 1,41,000. Yeah. So now you just scroll on the tab to go to the community tab. You just scroll. You can find the community tab. Are we through? Just click the community tab. You will get the invite friends link. Invite friends. On the rightmost corner, you have a radio button where you can click to select all the friends. in your friends list. I am very sure that the people who are sitting here, they have minimum 500 to 600 friends. So if you invite almost 700, 800 people are sitting here. So just imagine, you just click it and push the invite friends button, and now you are being a part of this movement. You are proudly being a part of this movement. The Bank Bachao, Desh Bachao. By just clicking the invite friends tab, you have invited almost 1 lakh Facebook account holders to like this page. Now we will see how much it is getting converted. See, please don't think that we are not following the architecture of Facebook. There is a team dedicated who is sitting there in the headquarters at Kolkata, just watching. I think Saumuda can just see how many likes are being pushed. The analytics team is sitting there. So now, let me start my formal speech. Thank you. Please give a big clap, big round of applause for the people who are sitting here. Thank you. So, the respected General Secretary of DBOO, Comrade Manoj S., the Managing Director and CEO of Dhanlakshmi Bank, Sri Shivan JK. I think we have some other connections also. We are from the same fraternity, sir, the agriculture fraternity. And I am also the alumni of College of Agriculture, Vellani, where you have studied in 1977, 1981 batch, and you were the gold medalist in the agriculture. So, I am very happy that I am sharing the dais with my alumni, Shivan sir, the most vibrant General Secretary of All India Bank Officers Confederation, Comrade Saumuda, the president for this particular meeting, Comrade Rajesh KN, and the General Convener of DBOO Biennial Conference, Comrade Abraham Gilbert Carrot, and all the other senior leaders whom I can just see, Mohanan sir, Vijaya madam, and all the other people who are sitting over here, and my colleague Latish, Balaji, and all my dear comrades. See, just I would like to ponder a few things on my deliberation. Bank Bachao, Desh Bachao, now we have gone through an exercise. Now you will be wondering why there is a slogan Bank Bachao, Desh Bachao. See, All India Bank Officers Confederation has always furthered the movement for protecting the banks in the country and not the public sector banks. For your kind consideration and for your kind perusal, I am just putting this statement very clear before this August gathering that we are fighting to protect the banks and not the public sector banks alone. So my doubt is why we are trying to protect the banks, why the banks are at stake. See, in 1970s, when the bank nationalization concept was mooted by the then government, there were so many political agendas behind the bank nationalization. But ultimately, it was a political decision. It was a political decision to nationalize the banks. What has happened? Why the bank was nationalized? Some write-ups which has come up during that period of time, and even in the court case which was filed by Rustam Cooper, the bank nationalization case, it is a beautiful case. Rustam Cooper versus Union of India, which was filed in 1971, there is a mention that it was an urge. It was an urge to make this a socialist country on a fine morning. So that was the level of criticism and the political color which was thrown upon this bank nationalization agenda, which was mooted by the then government. But ultimately, why the bank was nationalized? See, we must embrace the Constitution of India, where the Article 32 to Article 51 provides for the directive principles of state policy. All the governments, let it be the state, center, we are embracing the cooperative federalism. We must accept the fact that we are bounded by the basic structure, doctrine, or the maxim of the Constitution of India, where it is very clearly said that the policy makers who are sitting in the center and the state making policies for the country should see the face of the most poor in the country while they are making policies. It is the basic structure, doctrine of Constitution of India which is mooted by the directive principles of state policy. And this directive principles of state policy defines India as a welfare state, not a police state. On a fine morning, the government cannot lift their hands and say that no, we are least bothered about the welfare of the country, we are least bothered about the welfare of the people, the government has no business being in business, and we are going to take off the hands from all the public sector entities of the country and we are going to privatize it. The basic agenda of blank nationalization was to accept the basic structure doctrine of the constitution and to announce and be very vocal on that particular point that we would like to serve the people of the country. 90% of the capital was with the private sector banks on that particular period. Only 1,300 was the presence of the bank branches in the rural and semi-urban belt of the country. After nationalization, when we have traveled almost 30-40 years, 30-40 years, the banks were an integral part of all the revolutions that has happened in the country. Let it be green, white, blue, yellow. We had been the integral part of all the revolutions that has happened in the country. Now, we are fighting for the banks, not for the public sector banks, because I would like to remind this August gathering that right to education was not a right when the constitution was framed. It was further added in 2001, right to education through an amendment. Why it was added? When the Constituent Assembly was discussing on the constitution, it has very clearly documented that this is an organic document which needs change. Every time when the time passes, we should embrace the change, we should accept the change, and it should be very organic. So the right to education was amended and inserted as an article in the constitution, and it is a fundamental right now. Why banking is not a fundamental right? Whether we have thought, whether we have given a perspective on that particular issue, why the banking is not a fundamental right? There was a movement for India's financial independence that has started in this state. Movement for India's financial independence. We just conceptualized that movement with a strong conviction and a conscious opinion that as the right to education is now a fundamental right, the right to banking should also be a fundamental right. So why the right to banking should be a fundamental right? Now you can see, even if it is a private sector education institution, they must accept that they have a fundamental duty to accept the fundamental right, and they must take the students up to 10th standard. The government must provide free education up to 10th standard. My point is, when the right to banking is being accepted as a fundamental right, the government will be obliged to ensure that the government is running the banks, where the doors of the banks will not be closed in front of the rural and semi-urban fragile population. We have seen a farmer in today's video. There will be 100 farmers, there will be 100 SHGs who will be crying literally, those who will not be getting any access to these banks. When we are speaking about private sector banks, I would like to segregate the private sector banks from old generation private sector banks. They always had embraced the concept of public sector, and they have been very confidently fighting along with the public sector banks to accept that the banking is the right of each and every citizen of the country. Now you take the private sector banks. When our MD, Honorable MD is sitting here, I would just like to say, place on record before this August gathering that the CD ratio of private sector banks in Kerala has steadily declined. When the private sector banks in the country is maintaining a CD ratio of 82%, here we are maintaining a CD ratio of below 50%. And I think among the private sector banks, Catholic Syrian banks' position is pathetic. Pathetic. It is just 41%. Then average of the CD ratio of the public sector banks in Kerala is 98%. The Dhanlakshmi Bank is having a CD ratio of 41%. 47.9%, 47.99% to be precise. Federal Bank is having 41.59%, and the South Indian Bank is better with 52%. So why we are not accepting the fact that the amount what we are getting from the public is not being given back to the public? At least I am not accepting or pursuing the fact that there should be some geographical discrimination on this particular aspect. Let the CD ratio be fair, at least. Now what CSB Bank is doing, from what little I know, CSB Bank has a total deposit portfolio of almost 35,000 crores, and the Honorable Finance Minister, if he would have been here, he would have accepted my statement. He has given a clarification in the Legislative Assembly that the CSB Bank, which is taking 35,000 crores from Kerala, is not investing in Kerala. They are taking this money and giving it to the corporates. So whether it should be the responsibility of the bank? See, All India Bank Officers Confederation is always having an apolitical character, but we always believe that we should speak politics as and when it is required. As and when it is required, we should be politically clear and politically correct. See, when the privatization is the extreme right-wing agenda and a political decision of a ruling party, why we should not speak politics? We should also speak politics. It is not a government's decision, it is government's policy. See, if you want to fight against privatization, you have to be politically correct first. And how we should be politically correct? Let us take the history of the decisions what the government has taken in the last 7-8 years. See, I will just narrate a story. My MD has not accepted it in the public domain. So when he was addressing the conference in Kochi, he said that Srinath has quoted certain documents which is available in the public domain. Many of it may be correct, but I am not accepting it in toto. But everybody should understand the fact that this is true. This is true. In 2016, when Mr. Arun Tiwari was the MD of Union Bank of India, and when he was heading one section of discussions in the Gyan Sangam 2, he has mooted a proposal to merge Bank of Baroda and Union Bank of India. And he, in the last board of Union Bank of India, on 31st May, if I am not wrong, we were called. I was also a party to the discussion. All India Bank Officers Confederation's affiliate, All India Union Bank Officers Federation, has categorically told that we will not sign this proposal. And we walked out from the meeting. But the board has passed it unilaterally. So ultimately, Mr. Rajkiran Rai came to Union Bank of India with a mandate to merge Bank of Baroda and Union Bank of India. If that merger would have materialized, what will be the fate of Indian banking industry? Whether anybody has pondered on that? We would have lost 2 major public sector banks. But what he has done, Mr. Rajkiran Rai has done, he has converted his ED's chamber of UCO Bank as a war room. The code name for Union Bank of India was Zen, because it was a very fragile issue. The government never wanted to disclose this thing that they are mooting the proposal of a merger of 2 major public sector banks. Then he took all the data. Then he found that Bank of Baroda's tangible PCR, the provision coverage ratio, is almost 87%. And Union Bank of India was having a tragic irony. All the non-performing assets were under the carpet. Even though the asset quality review, as rightly said by your Honorable MD sir, started in 2015, Union Bank of India was keeping all the non-performing assets under the carpet, and it was having a very lean provisioning of 25 to 30%. So additional 15,000 crore was required, almost 20,000 crore was required to match the tangible PCR of Bank of Baroda. And why the decision makers, why the government, why not the Gyan Sangam, why not the Nidhi Aayog has sat on this balance sheet and accepted the proposition that if the merger of Bank of Baroda is happening with Union Bank of India, we will lose 2 major public sector banks. But they signed it. Ultimately, after 6 months of preparation, Mr. Rajkiran Rai has called all the government authorities along with all the GMs and MD to Delhi, and he told the government that if we are continuing with this proposal of merger, I require 20,000 crore more capital. I can plow back 10,000 to 12,000 crores from the operating profit, but rest 8,000 crores should be provided by the government. So it was very clear. Then the government had backed out from the proposal because they just don't want to spend 8,000 crores. And literally, Bank of Baroda and Union Bank of India was saved. So that was the reason why we are against the merger, that the decisions what we are taking in this country is not having any base, any studies. So ultimately, what will happen if a bank is failing? If a private sector bank, let the case of Dhanlakshmi Bank. See, what is the capital of Dhanlakshmi Bank? The only industry in the entire country, entire global scenario where you can start a business with some 1,000 crores and do a business of almost lakh crore is banking industry. Why? Because we are accepting the deposits and we are doing business with the deposits what we accept from the customers. So we have at least a social responsibility towards the customers who have invested or parked their funds with Dhanlakshmi Bank. See, I would just like to tell you one small statistics. From 2014 to 2021, the Union of India, the central government has infused 2 lakh crore as the capital in the entire public sector fabric of the country. So since the last 8 years, they have invested 2 lakh crore and they are saying that we don't have much capital to spare from the exchequer to be written off. Now, the total budget of bailout that has happened in UK in the 2008 crisis was 685 lakh crore. I will make it very clear. United Kingdom has spent 685 lakh crore rupees. Their 850 billion euros to bail out all the banks, private banks also, when there was a crisis and the banks were failing. So now it is an accepted proposition across the globe that if a bank is failing, the government must intervene and bail it out. So ultimately we are saying that you don't privatize public sector banks, but you nationalize all the private sector banks. You nationalize Dhanlakshmi Bank, you nationalize Federal Bank, you nationalize South Indian Bank. And we just want to make sure that the banking is a fundamental right and it should be percolated to the society through all these banks. Now coming to the second thing, Bharat Yatra. See, my General Secretary was very vocal in saying that the Bharat Yatra has impacted a lot. See, he was very correct. My MD was also getting intermittent calls from the PMO asking who is Soumya Datta and what is his political background and what is the political background of All India Bank Officers Confederation. We are very proud to say that we are standing on the dais with an apolitical platform where we are not embracing any culture, caste, creed, religion, but we accept each and every one into our fold. But we will never accept that we are running a political party, but yes, we are running a trade union movement. The basic quality of the trade union movement is that we are for the trade. When CSB Bank was having this much issues, on behalf of All India Bank Officers Confederation, I have written to Mr. C.V. Rajendran that, sir, we believe as a supreme body representing almost 325,000 officers in the country, we believe and we have a conscious opinion that we are for the trade. And if we destroy trade, ultimately we are destroying the trade union movement. So let us sit across the table and resolve all the issues so that we can take bank to a greater height. And then he has responded. And I was feeling very positive to get his response that Mr. Srinath, you can speak to my CGM. But unfortunately, when we were going to meet the GMHR and CGMHR, unfortunately we realized that he is just a puppet. He is just a puppet in the hands of the people who have infused the capital. So here, I would like to request each and every person sitting here to accept this proposal that we are not fighting for public sector banks, we are fighting for the bank as a whole. The MD of a private sector bank has openly told in a video conference that until and unless you are not coming out of the Bank Bachao Desh Bachao campaign of All India Bank Officers Confederation, we will not be sitting with you and negotiating with you. What is the audacity? You just see the audacity of that MD. I am not naming him here, but some of the people who are sitting here along, including our Honorable Sham sir would have recognized. Shivan sir would have recognized his name. See the audacity. He is saying that if you are participating in the campaigns of Mr. Soumya Datta, then we will not be sitting and negotiating with you. And the audacity has gone to that height that they have declared that the private sector banks will not be giving mandate to IBA for this upcoming settlement. there will be an uproar in the state of Kerala. We will bring the bank to a standstill. If the private sector banks are not giving the mandate to IBA for this salary settlement, All India Bank Officers Confederation will make sure that the entire banking industry will come to a standstill in the country. Let us play the divide and rule policy, but we will not accept that proposition that we will be divided. I will just tell you a story. Do you know the Upma story of divided majority? See, in a campus, there were 100 people who were residents of a hostel. Every day morning, they were serving Upma for breakfast. Only 20 people wanted Upma. The other 80 was just trying to push out Upma from the menu. And one day they have gone to the warden and told that, sir, let us put for vote ki whether Upma should continue. Then it was put for vote. So against 20 votes, we had 80 votes. But unfortunately, what has happened, you know? Upma won. Again, Upma started continuing. Why? It is the theory of divided majority. Even though 80 people were having a conscious opinion that we don't want Upma, they were not having a concrete opinion what we want. So 10 persons voted for chapati, 13 voted for appam, 14 voted for dosa, and ultimately the majority got divided, and with 20 votes, Upma came up to power again. So we must accept the fact that if we are a majority, then let us accept the fact that we are a majority and we accept the proposition of the majority. And we should not be a divided majority. Why the banks are failing? See, literally, when we always say that we are ultimately failing, we are not going into the balance sheet and we are not seeing the operating profit what we are making. We are just saying that we are on the loss side because we are not having net profit. See, I will just tell you in my bank, actually we were taking a seminar to the office bearers of All India Union Bank Officers Federation. That time, I have just quoted this example. There is an ABCD theory of management. You know the ABCD theory of management? So that is happening in the public sector bank. See, everyone should read Great Indian Banking Tragedy, The Pandemonium by Tamal Bandyopadhyay. You will be enlightened on what is happening in the banking industry of this country. You know what is ABCD theory of management? That is literally happening in the bank with the management. For a better management, we should follow the theory of ABCD. First thing, if some paper comes to you for a decision, first avoid A. First avoid it. Somebody comes with a paper to the manager and says, avoid. Then next is B, bypass. He just said udhar. That is either. So if you not succeed in sending him away, then the next thing is C, confuse. Let him come with a paper and say, what is written here? It is not A, it is B. So if you are not able to convince a person, confuse them. Even if you are not successfully getting rid of this paper or getting rid of taking a decision, then last thing is D. Destroy that paper. This is the ABCD theory of management. That is happening in the entire banking industry. The people are shying away from taking the decisions, and ultimately the field, the scale 1, scale 2, scale 3 officers are pushed to take the decisions and delegate. The loaning powers are being delegated more to the field level. Have you heard of any board being held accountable for the loss what the banking industry has faced? In the last 5-6 years, almost we have written off 94% of the bad loans what has come before the NCLT. Out of the 4,864 crores, 4,546 crores were written off. Whether any board was held accountable for taking the decision to give this loan? No. So ultimately, we are giving the loans and we are accountable for that. We must accept the fact that it is not the regional office, it is not the central office, it is not the board who are earning the bread for the bank. It is the officers who are slogging in the field, sitting in the branches, dying there, toiling there. who are earning the profit for the bank. So my humble submission to the Honorable MD of Dhanalakshmi Bank is, sir, let us not accept the proposition that there should be profit for the bank by cutting down the cost of establishment expenses, salary expenses, allowances to the bank. We should not be so dichotomic in saying that our officers who are working in the field are earning for the bank, and ultimately when the time comes for making a decision on what we have to give for the officers after 5 years in a bipartite settlement, we should not shy away from taking a decision, and we must be bold to say that yes, my people have worked for me, and we'll be giving the mandate and we'll be accepting what it is coming out, transpiring from the discussions. Now finally, when I am about to give a signing off statement, because it is time, almost it is 12:25, the All India Bank Officers Confederation believes that there is a huge difference between the leader and the manager. The leaders who are sitting over here are the people who are working for the benefit of the employees. We are not saying that we have to survive independently or we should be a predator to each other. But sir, we are very confidently saying that we are having a conscious opinion and a strong conviction that we must coexist in this ecosystem. Because wherever we are failing, we must supplement each other. So this is a railway track. One track is the management and one track is the trade union. Have you seen these tracks meeting together? Because it will be a disaster. It will not meet. But it will take the train to a safe destination. The management and the trade union should be the two tracks in the railway line which is taking the banking industry or the bank to a safe destination. They must coexist. They must sit across the table. We must accept bilateralism and we must sit on for discussions, and no problems are there which cannot be settled across the table with a cup of coffee. I strongly believe that there are no problems existing in this world, not in the banking industry, but in the entire world, which cannot be resolved sitting across the table over a cup of coffee. Then why we are shying away and taking unilateral decisions just like CSB bank management, and in ultimately destroying the peace and tranquility of the industry and making and brewing up industrial unrest. So my humble submission to each and every officer, office bearer of Dhanalakshmi Bank Officers Organization is, we have an ecosystem in Dhanalakshmi Bank where our Honorable MD sir and all the management, top management is accepting the fact that we are for bilateralism. So let us continue this beautiful environment of bilateralism, and let us together take the bank forward. Let us together resolve here that at least we are also a part of the Dhanalakshmi Bank family, and it is for us to make sure that Dhanalakshmi Bank is in profit and we are getting our share of the profit. So this should be the bilateral terms in which we should be functioning, and ultimately when I am signing off from my speech, I would like to end this with a small story. One day, one scientist went for a circus. So many of you know the circus, but the young generation officers who are above 90 kids won't be having the experience of a circus. So that scientist went for a circus. There he saw an elephant. It is a huge creature. Elephant tamed by a man, and it was tied with a small string. Small string. The scientist was very confident that if the elephant move his legs, then he will be able to break the chain and get free. Unfortunately, he never saw the elephant moving or breaking the chain. So after the circus, out of the curiosity, he went to the trainer and just asked the trainer, okay, let me have a clarity on why the elephant is not moving his legs or trying to get himself freed. Then the tamer told that, sir, I got this elephant when it was 6 months old. On that day, I tied the elephant with this string. After 15 years, also, at that point of time when it was tied, that 6-month-old elephant was not in a position to break the chain, even if he struggled, moved, but he was not able to break the chain. Slowly, he learned to be helpless. He learned to be helpless, and after 15 years also, it was programmed in the mind of the elephant that I will not be able to break the chain. This is known as the theory or doctrine of learned helplessness. Let us not be accepting the fact that we are helpless. We are not helpless. It was the era when we started our fight for 1 day casual leave for the officers. That day we were helpless. It was the era when we fought for 1 rupee allowance. That was the era when we were helpless. But today we have grown. In the entire banking industry, we are an indispensable force, informidable force, and that force is known as All India Bank Officers Confederation. And we should not be helpless, and we must accept the fact that if we move, hila denge hum. We will be able to break all the chains, and we will be able to bag each and every demands what we are raising before the government or to the management. With this, I sign off. I wish the conference of Dhanlakshmi Bank Officers Organization be a huge success, and let us rally together for the fight for the benefits of the officers fraternity. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Lal Salam.
The big round of applause says it all. Thank you, comrade, for your vibrant and dynamic speech. Our next speaker comes like the calm after the storm. The strong yet gentle president of DBOO, Comrade Rajesh KN, is here to deliver the presidential address.
Good afternoon, mates. Respected dignitaries on and off the dais, it is indeed a great privilege for me to stand in front of you trying to deliver what should be a presidential address. Starting from my career in the Dhanlakshmi Bank, at a very young age, I had the opportunity to work with many senior banking professionals during the past 27 years. Besides teaching me the nuances of banking, they shaped my outlook towards fellow human beings. They taught me to be with the people, sharing their grief and joy, and always to be with them, assisting in all possible ways. We call it activism in the modern day parlance. But to be with the people inside or outside the bank was a way of life for me. I never looked at any leadership positions and was always content in doing my bit as a dedicated soldier of the association that I was a part of. There are, in fact, many occasions where I could positively impact lives of many fellow comrades during these decades. From my experience, I can tell you that the satisfaction that you derive from positively influencing someone's life would far outweigh any other things in your life. These are the moments that I would always cherish as I continue my journey. As our beloved General Secretary was saying in his welcome address, now we have come to a stage where we have to say that we started off as bankers, now we also do banking. Is it not a pathetic situation? Comrades, it is pretty clear that government is trying to redraw the banking space and possibly turn P4 public into P4 private. We are already part of a process that all the government scheduled schemes get delivered to the public free of cost through banks. But when it comes to deciding our salaries and perks, the term paying capacity crops up in the discussions. I appreciate Shomada and team who had to navigate through choppy waters and had to encounter many challenges before clinching a deal. You all would have got a fair idea of the things that are happening in the national scenario. It is our bounden duty to rally behind this mighty banner of AABOZ and give a strong message to the decision makers. Let me tell you one thing very clearly. The actual number on the roads do matter for any educational programs. Always keep in mind that there are eyes watching and counting the number in AABC programs. They are not counting to punish you, but to understand how much of a support that a call of AABC carries. Hence, all the calls from the leadership are definitely to be actioned upon, and the responsibility is on each and every one of us to come on the roads each time. I also have to touch upon the bank's new this Bank Bachao, Desh Bachao page. Comrades, mere liking is not enough. I call upon you to visit this page continuously and start sharing all the contents of this page being published on a daily basis. I appreciate the team who delivers this regular content and request Shomada to convey the appreciation from DBOO. Can we have a great big round of applause for them, comrades? On the domestic front, the new MD has completed his first year in our bank. I know for a fact that Sir is now completely aware of the positives as well as negatives. Sir, here we have a workforce who can deliver the goods. I am sure with the right kind of directions and intervention, our bank will gather the much needed momentum in our journey forward. In continuation to our General Secretary's affirmation of our desire to become partners in progress, we represent the workforce and the suggestions or the feedbacks that we escalate to the management are right from the ground zero. Our only intention is to streamline the bottlenecks that are felt at the front line. We all together will do whatever it takes to take our institution to greater heights. Let me once again reiterate the importance of staying united under the banner of DBOO and IABOC. Comrades, it is very easy to withdraw to one's shell. There can be naysayers also trying to pull you away from the masses. But always keep in mind that the predators attack the lone animals that get strayed away from the herd. There has been a rich tradition in DBOO to set the trend in activism. I urge upon you to continue the legacy that has been built over the years. Continue to rally behind the banner of DBOO and AABOC. Continue to give unstinted support to the leadership in all their endeavors. Before me concluding, I am wishing each and every one of you glorious years ahead filled with success. May God give all of us enough strength to carry forward our institution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade President, for your presidential address. Now, friends, you all have been a fantastic audiences so far. You all have been really fantastic. But please keep silence for 10 more minutes. Please keep silence for 10 more minutes. Let's continue the tradition. Let's continue the legacy of the Dhanlakshmi Bank Officers Organization meetings being very, very, very systematic and disciplined.
Like our treasurer says, we are almost at the fag end of the morning session. We have a small gift as a token of appreciation for our distinguished guests. We wanted to give something memorable, and hence we have decided to give our dignitaries an Ona Villu. It is a wooden artifact that is associated with Lord Padmanabha Swami and considered a symbol of prosperity. It is widely used in rituals associated with Lord Vishnu. I request Comrade Sudha to carry the memento, and may I request General Secretary Comrade Manoj to hand it over to our respected MD. Comrade Raki will carry the honor will to be presented to Comrade Soumya Datta. Comrade Ansa will carry the memento that will be handed over to Comrade Srinath. Srinath in the children. Looks beautiful.
We have so far witnessed a grand event. The discipline and adherence to schedule is always a trademark for DBOO. Thanks to Comrade Abraham Gilbert Karot, our convener for the 19th edition of DBOO Biennial, we have had an event to remember. Comrade Abraham will now propose the formal vote of thanks.
A very good afternoon to all. I deem it a great honor and privilege to express the vote of thanks on behalf of our Dhanlakshmi Bank Officers Organization. Let me first start by giving glory to the Almighty to make today's function a grand success to the ultimate. First of all, I would like to express our sincere thanks to our chief guest, our beloved MD and CEO, Sri Shivan JK, for accepting our invitation and being part of the 90th Biennial. We assure that, or we all know that under his leadership, our bank will be at its glorious stages and above the glorious stages. We DBOO express our sincere thanks for always supporting us and guiding us, sir. Comrade Soumya Datta, General Secretary AIBC. We know that he was the busiest person ever I see. I personally had attended the youth convention in Kolkata. We three was there. We know you, sir. Sir, we thank you for giving the keynote address for the 90th Biennial. We appreciate for the efforts taken to roll out the huge campaign Bank Bachao, Desh Bachao as the mass movement opposing the privatization of the public sector banks. Sir, we assure you that DBO members or the entire DBO stand with you for this movement, sir. Once again, we thank you for the great words and great thoughts sharing with us. Comrade Srinath Inditude and State Secretary IBC. Much I can say it as a thundering storm which has been raining all over the hall like this. It is, I can represent you or my word is like that you are a roaring lion in the iBox, sir. We all know that he is also a very busiest person in the iBox, Kerala state. Yesterday, he was busy with the Druti Carnival 2022 conducted by the Union Bank Officers Association. But on his busiest time also, he came here, he attended the meeting and given us a good speech and good thoughts for us. So we thank you and we thank you from the part of the DBOO members. Comrade Rajesh, our President DBOO, and Comrade Manoj, sir, Secretary. We all know that without you both, our Biennial 19th will not be in a success. The dream Biennial after 3 years we conducted only because of these two leaders of DBOO. From the bottom heart of the entire DBOO family, we express our thanks to both of you, sir. On behalf of Dhanlakshmi Bank Officers Organization, we express our gratitude to all top executive management of Dhanlakshmi Bank who has accepted our invitation and have present and attended the meeting here. We thank our office bearers, members of our retiree associations, members of different committees, members of other vertical unions, unions of other affiliations of IBOC, friends from the medias and all other well-wishers who has prayed and made this biennial a grand success. Our special thanks to comrades from West, North, AP, Telangana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and comrades from various parts of Kerala who are spared their 2 days, weekends, for the conducting and smooth functioning of our biennial 19th. We take this opportunity to express our special thanks to the people who has decorated the stages yesterday and today to provide us uninterrupted light and sound, good refreshment, good food, and accommodations. And we are very much thankful for the people who are taking the photograph and going today's program. Entirely it is going live on YouTube. We special thank for the team who is behind this YouTube live telecast. My vote of thanks would not be complete without thanking a master brain who has worked all behind this 19th Biennial. That is not, we all know that person very closely, but I have to thank him specially. It is not, it is our own comrade Mr. Shubhu, because he has coordinated in such a way that all kind of activities and all kind of departments under his was working with smoothly. He even spared his personal time, holidays in DBOO office or in some other people for finalizing our biennial. So from the entire DBOO family, we thank you, Mr. Shibu, for coordinating such a great function, sir. Last but not least, it's the hard work and constant cooperation of each and every member of DBOO, our Dhanlakshmi Bank Officers Organization, has made this 90th Biennial a great success. Thank you, comrade. Once again, thank you everyone for making the function great success.
Thank you, Abraham. Thank you very much. We will now break for lunch. Before that, a small announcement.
You all would have keenly heard what Srinath said about Bank Bachao Desh Bachao. Please spare 2 minutes to watch a video.